Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sushant Chess Quiz. Today we are at the next topic, that is the endgame studies explained. We are at the 54th position of our topic. Today we have got a case of typical race of pawns position where we see both sides are trying to win their pawns. We see that the black king is out of the magic square of the h pawn and the d pawn can be stopped by the white king. Similarly, the a pawn and the king on h1, we see that they are far away. So it is a position with white to play and win. Let's look at some analysis. After the move h4, we see that white is unable to get a win because h4 d5, h5 d4. Although the white king is in the square of the pawn, white plays kg2 there. We see that black can get kb3, kf3, d3, and there is no problem at all for black. So after h4, d5, better attempt is to go kg2 right away, and after d4, go for the move kb3. But here too, nothing changes, just kb3, and after h5, d3, white has to be careful. White should play ke3 first, taking the king out of the d1 queen check. Then after king c2, h6, d2, h7, d1 queen, h8 queen. Although white queen's later position is still safe and it will be drawn. Another problematic line which makes the solving difficult is f4. f4 forces black king to go to b4 because we see that after f4 d5, f5 d4, f6 d3, f7 d2, f8 queens with a check, and queen can stop the advance of the d pawn and white wins. But after f4 kb4, if we play f5, there is king c5. The king reaches the square of the pawn, and if we try to play h4 there, then the king reaches d6 and e7, and he comes into the magic square of the h pawn as well. So after f4 kb4, f5 kc5, h4 kd6, h5 ke7, h6 king f7. The king reaches the square of both the pawns, and it turns out that black is winning now. After kg2 a5, the black queen comes first, and after the move f6, just king into f6. Similar is h7 when kg7 wins for black. But if we use our calculation method properly, we will find that there is one more move order which is possible. Let's look at that. After the move f4, kb4, we see the pawn and the king. See, the king is right at the edge of the magic square. And at this point, we can use the move h4. When we see the king is still not in the magic square of the h pawn. Firstly, we should note that whenever the h pawn queens on h8, a pawn cannot cause any trouble, because after h8, if the pawn is on a2, he can't queen a1 because the rook's pawn controls the opponent's queening square on the rook 5. After f4, kb4, h4, he has to go with the move d5. And when we see that every time we will use the f pawn to lure the king towards the f8 square. That is the point of this study. So let's play the moves and see how white wins after f4, kb4, h4. Now black has to play the move d5, because if kc5, then the h pawn simply queens first. kc5, h5, kd6, h6, ke7, h7, and white wins. So only move d5. Now again f5. We use the fact that the race between f and d pawn is always favoring white, because f8 comes with check all the time. So king c5 forced. King is again right at the edge of the magic square. Now again white goes h. Again black is forced to play d4. And now white goes with the simple idea f6. The same idea keeps on continuing. Now d3, f7, d2, f8 queens with a check. So kd6 forced, h6, again d3 forced. Now comes f7, ae7, h7, d2, and here white uses the final tactical point. f8 queen comes with a check, and after king f8 the pawn queens on h8 with a check, and next move qd4 and the pawn on d2 will be taken and white wins the game. So in this position we saw that white was not able to use the Retty's idea of getting his king into the opponent's square and then improving the own king position, but it was the promotion of pawns with check. I hope you are finding these lessons useful. Do like, share and subscribe the channel. Thanks for your time.